One thing I'll say before we get into the Hakala labs is I know a lot of people consume reverse osmosis water. And what I will say is reverse osmosis removes all minerals, all things in the water. And so, yes, it is completely clean, but it can also be considered completely dead. So when you're drinking that water, and then if that water is imbalanced, it will pull minerals from your own body to balance that water. So I think if you're going to take reverse osmosis water, make sure to take or put the drops of electrolytes in it to ensure that it has minerals. Or you could get a filter that's not as strong as a reverse osmosis filter. And I don't know if there's a perfect filter out there, but I wouldn't worry as much about the fluoride. If there is fluoride in your water systems, I would just take extra iodine. And you'll see in this Hakala Labs test results that you can measure that itself. So this is a 24-hour urine test, and you'll see right here it is iodine. And this person did the 24-hour excretion. And to be at sufficiency, you have to be at 50 milligrams. And you could see this person's at 32.86, which means that they're about at 66%. 90% is considered sufficient. So they're not terrible, but they probably need to take more iodine. Then you could look at the bromide. You could see that in 24 hours, this person excreted 2.34. So it's less than the reference range of 5, but the national average for urinary bromide is about 1 to 2 milligrams. So they're still a little bit over. And as it says on the bottom, any level of bromide should be addressed as it competes with iodine for receptor sites and inhibits iodine absorption. So for this person, one, I would recommend increasing their iodine levels because they're not at sufficiency. And then secondly, they have some level of bromide. This person at 49.54, they are at sufficiency. So they're at 99%. I think this is the only person that we tested that is at sufficiency. But their bromide is at 7.14. So it is above the reference range. And so they have an extra abundance of bromide. Now, this person didn't test their fluoride, so I don't know where it's at. So even though this person is at sufficiency with iodine, I would recommend this person taking more to basically dispel the bromide that's in their system. So this person, for their iodines at 37.84 at 76% sufficiency, they're almost at 90, so they should probably take a little bit more. Their bromide is within range, so I'm not concerned. But again, you could see their fluoride. Their fluoride's at 4.03 when the reference range is 1.3. And fluoride is neurotoxic, has a negative effect on bone health, and interferes again with iodine metabolism. So even for this person, they should take more iodine than they're currently taking to dispel their fluoride. So as you can see from just these examples, most people are deficient in iodine, even with the gold standard of that urine test. And even if you're sufficient with iodine, if you are being exposed to extra fluoride or bromide, you still need that extra iodine to dispel those other toxins. Now, I know many people are also scared of consuming more salt. I actually have an interview with Dr. Brownstein about salt as well, and I'll link to that in the show notes. I have a whole article about if you should limit salt, and it talks a lot about the importance of sodium, how it balances your electrolytes. If you are stressed, your adrenals are going to use more of your sodium. I know there are certain people that will feel better without consuming salt. So obviously you have to figure out what makes sense for you. If you are curious about your iodine levels, you can do the 24-hour urine test. You have to collect your urine at different times of the day after taking a 50 milligram, not microgram, but milligram. Here's our sample iodine protocol. It is free. All you have to do is sign up. We have a sign up page right here. I'll put this in the show notes, but once you download this, you can get that free guide. And so the free guide basically tells you the different products you can, again, test for that 24-hour urine test. Dr. Guy Abrams and Dr. Brownstein researched that 50 milligrams or 20 drops for 3 months proved iodine saturation in the body. When I interviewed Dr. Brownstein as well as Lynne Farrow, they talked about how much iodine to use. And really, the research shared by Dr. Guy Abrams and Hakala Labs showed that there really is no amount that will make you overdo iodine. And I know that's very controversial to say, but you will literally pee it out. If you are really deficient, the studies show that maybe 50 milligrams for 3 months can start supporting you in sufficiency. Again, you could do that 24-hour test if you're really worried, but most people that we have tested are always deficient. So if you guys downloaded the free handout, this link that I'm sharing right now is in that handout, and you can measure how much of your iodine that you actually need. In the US, it's kind of hard to get the 5%, but you can always do the measurement. But we normally use the 2% one, which is this one. It is 94% distilled water, 4% potassium iodide, and 2% iodine. For my clients, we will start at 1 drop, and we recommend starting 1 drop in the morning because iodine can start waking up or stimulating your body, the cells, the tissues, the thyroid that needs it. And you may also detox some of the bromide and fluoride. So we always recommend just 1 drop at first. But you'll see all of these bromide and fluoride detoxing symptoms when you take iodine. So you could see it's pretty much everything. One big thing we see is that people will all of a sudden really feel hyper. The other thing is that people start getting like little acnes around their body, and it's because their body is detoxing. Sometimes you may need additional detox support, such as liver and kidney support. These are things that can happen when you take iodine and your body has been so deficient, especially if you've been hypothyroid for a very long time. So we'll start with 1 drop in the morning. And then we will slowly add, I think it's like 6 drops. So that will get you to about 15 milligrams. And remember, they said 50 milligrams, not micrograms, milligrams, which is, I know is so blasphemous for the people that are against taking iodine. But I think if you get to 12, it puts you at 30. So we don't always get people to 50 milligrams because it might be a lot. And people also start to feel some effects or some adverse effects. So you can always start really slow, and then you can use this calculator to figure out where you want to be. I think for maintenance, we put people on about 6 drops, which is about 15 milligrams. But the 50 milligrams for a 2%, so this one would be 20 drops. So you would need 20 of these drops to get to that 50 milligrams.